You know that feeling when you have a memory you just can't shake? Not just a quick thought, but a place, a feeling, something you're stuck in, playing over and over again? Well, that's exactly where we're going today. We're stepping into the haunting, beautiful world of one of American theater's greatest plays, The Glass Menagerie.
Right out of the gate, our narrator, Tom Wingfield, tells us exactly what we're in for. He's not promising you the facts, not really. He's giving us his version of the past, and that version is all shaped by emotion, by regret, and by that hazy glow that things get when they're long gone. So this isn't just a story, it's more like a confession. So what in the world is a memory play? Well, think of it less like a photograph and more like a dream. Sure, the events might have happened, but they're all filtered through how the narrator feels about them. This whole style, which playwright Tennessee Williams basically pioneered, it broke the mold. It wasn't about what happened, but about how the past feels.
Okay, so at the absolute heart of this memory is a family, the Wingfields. They're living in this tiny St. Louis apartment during the Great Depression. And let me tell you, they're not just trapped by poverty, they're trapped by their own hopes and by the ghosts of a life that is long, long gone.
First up, we meet the matriarch, Amanda Wingfield. On one hand, she is totally stuck in the memory of her youth as a popular Southern belle, constantly talking about her 17 gentlemen callers. But on the other hand, she's living this grim, tough reality, and this constant battle between her shiny past and her difficult present, well, it fuels this desperate and, honestly, pretty suffocating obsession with her kids' futures.
And then there's Tom, our guide through this whole thing. By day, he's the son trying to do the right thing, working a job that is just crushing his soul at a shoe warehouse. Fun fact, the playwright himself worked a job just like it. But by night, Tom escapes to the movies, he writes poetry, and he just dreams of a bigger life, one far away from his mother's nagging and the heavy responsibility he feels for his sister.
And that brings us to the quiet, fragile center of this entire family in this memory. Tom's sister, Laura. She is the reason this memory hurts so much and the reason it's so powerful.
Laura is just painfully shy. She's held back not just by a slight limp, but by this social anxiety that's basically paralyzing. She's already dropped out of business school because she just can't handle it. So what does she do? She retreats into her own little private world, a collection of tiny, delicate glass animals. And this glass menagerie, it's not just some hobby. It is her. It's beautiful, it's magical, and it's way too fragile to ever survive in the real world.
So Amanda, watching her daughter just withdraw more and more, she cooks up a plan. It's her one last, great, desperate hope to give Laura a future. She decides Laura needs a gentleman caller. And guess whose job it is to find one? Yep, it all falls right on Tom's shoulders. So pretty much the whole second half of the play is just about this one single evening, and it unfolds like a little tragedy in 4 acts. First, there's all this frantic hope building up as Tom brings home Jim O'Connor, a nice, charming guy from the warehouse. Then, you get this beautiful, amazing moment of connection, where Jim's kindness actually gets Laura to open up. You really believe it could work. But then comes the big reveal, and everything comes crashing down. Jim, who's basically a symbol of the normal, regular outside world, he gently lets them know he's already engaged. He had no clue about the massive weight this family had put on his visit. And just like that, the one tiny candle of hope they had lit in that dark apartment gets snuffed out. The dream is shattered, probably more fragile than any of Laura's little glass figures.
So, after the dream completely collapses, what's left? Well, this is where the play really becomes a memory. It's about that lingering feeling of guilt and loss that you can never, ever fix.
In the end, Tom gets what he wanted. He leaves. He escapes the apartment, the warehouse, the arguments, all of it. He goes off to have those adventures he dreamed about. But here's the tragic irony. He's never actually free. The memory of his sister, the one he left behind, it follows him everywhere he goes. He might have escaped the apartment, but he never, ever escaped his own mind.
And that gets us to the big question, right? This is a small, quiet play about one family's problems from way back in 1944. Why are we still so obsessed with it? Why does it still hit so hard?
It's because it taps into things that are completely universal. We've all felt the pull of the past, right? We've all had our big dreams smack right into a wall of reality. We've all felt that tension between our duty to family and our own desire to be free. And we all know just how fragile hope can be. This isn't just the Wingfield story. In a way, it's ours too.
The play ends with this absolutely haunting line from Tom. He's speaking across time and distance, asking his sister to blow out her candles, to finally let him go from the memory.
But we know it's impossible. He's asking for a release that he can never have. And we're left with that image of Laura like a flickering candle in a world that's already moved on, forever trapped in the fragile, beautiful, and heartbreaking prison of her brother's memory.